Hi and welcome to my channel. I always wanted to say this, so yeah, but really, hi. And first and foremost, I'd like to express my huge gratitude for your awesome feedback and really kind words about my previous video where I've shown you my project. I didn't really expect that amount of positive comments and support, so thank you very much, guys. I appreciate that a lot. And your curiosity and willingness to delve into this project inspired me to release this new video where I will be trying to explain to you how to create a similar project in Reaper that will give you a solid foundation for building something powerful, just like my modular rig presented in previous video. Or it will give you any ideas of creating something that might fit your needs, basically. So for the training video purposes, we will focus on creating a simple controller that will react only to two buttons, but is going also to have a feature that will be able to handle second press of a certain button that will trigger a different variant of a given sound, just as I have shown previously. Therefore, we are going to have a guitar input that this time will not be split in any way. It will just go straight into the pre-section of our unit and then to A or B paths variants and then to our post sections where we are going to have some delays and reverb and so on. And yes, I know that there are many possible approaches to achieving the desired goal. For example, we can use the SWS extensions in Reaper, or we can use the Reaper inbuilt snapshots feature and so on. But for creating something similar to the system that I have designed and showed you in my previous video, creating a Lua script will be most effective, I guess, and also, as I said, will help understanding the main concept behind the whole system. Let's just dive into the scripting quickly. First, we should navigate to the folder where the Reaper scripts are located. Usually the path is built like this. Once we are in the appropriate folder, I'm opening the VS Studio Code IDE. Basically, you can use anything you want, including the Windows Notepad for these purposes. Because VS Studio Code is also nothing but a fancy notepad with some interesting additional features that we will not need in this video. Now I'm creating our script template that I'm going to use later. So I'm just creating a new blank file with the extension of .lua. As I said in the beginning of this example video, I'm going to write a script that enables a certain path and mutes or disables effects on the others. Because this is super useful when you have multiple variations of a sound or several setups and you want to switch between them quickly. Later, I'm going to show you how to modify it and make it work accordingly to the assumptions that I have shown you on the previous diagram. First, we start with the variable called target_name. This tells the script which track prefix we want to activate, in this case, the letter A. So, any track whose name starts with A will become active when we run the script. This way, we will maintain the functionality of a script, but the name of the path placed subsequently after the letter A can be easily changed within Reaper. This is to ensure the possibility of changing the track name later on without changing the script. Next, I define which prefixes are valid overall. Here I only have two, A and B. This means the script will only pay attention to tracks whose names start with A or B. All other tracks will be ignored completely. Now I define which effects should be enabled when the target tracks, in this case A, becomes active. Only the effects name main and additional will stay on. Everything else on the track will be disabled. And this variable here defines which presets should be loaded for the main effects slot. So every time I activate this track, it will automatically load the preset called Sunrays Clean in this case. Now we move to the helper functions. These are small reusable blocks of code that make the main script cleaner. The first function searches through all the effects on the track and finds one by parts of its name. If it finds it, it returns the FX index, otherwise it returns -1. This will help us later identify the main FX and load the preset into it. This function loops through every FX on the track, checks its name, and enables it only if it fits our allowed list. For example, main or additional. Everything else gets turned off. And this one is even simpler. It mutes the track and disables all its effects completely. we'll use it for any non-active track. And here's where the actual logic starts. I wrap everything between undo_begin block and undo_end block, so that Reaper treats all changes as a single undo action. This one gets the total number of tracks in the current Reaper project. Now I start looping through every track. I grab the track object, read its name, and extract the prefix. Basically, the first letter on the word before any space. That prefix tells the script which group this track belongs to. Then I check two things. Is the prefix valid? And is this the target prefix? If the track is the active one, in this case ace, we unmute it and enable only the allowed prefix. And here we have our main logic function, which works in a way if the track is the active one, in this case A, we unmute it, enable only the allowed effects, find the main effects, and load our preset into it. And for all other valid tracks, we just mute them and disable their effects completely. That way, only one track setup stays active at a time. Finally, I close the undo block and add a label to it, so when I undo, I'll see exactly what this action did. And that's it. A short, clean Lua script that manages your Reaper session dynamically. You can easily adapt it by changing the prefix, adding more effects names, or loading different presets. It's a great way to automate the setup switching in live or studio projects. So having all this, we need to create 4 separate instances of the script that will slightly differ from each other. We are going to just quickly change the variables in order to have different scenarios. So we need to have something that will engage the track starting with A, with B, and next also something that will enable the primary and secondary preset in each of those tracks. Thus, I'm changing the variable names accordingly to the desired scenario, and I'm ready to implement those scripts in the Reaper project. Without further ado, let's create a new Reaper project where we're gonna create a preset switcher for the guitar. We should start from creating a track named pre, where we might want to place some effects that will go before the main sound processing units. Then we want to create the 2 tracks that's names, as we said, will start with A and B. So let's say A:"clean and B:"crunch. After that, we need to have an ultimate track that will gather all the sound and maybe have some delay and reverb on the post section. Thus, we are going to name it as post. Now we are going to wire up everything together. So let's route the pre to our A and B tracks, and later on, let's connect them with the post track. And don't forget to exclude everything from master, everything besides the post track, of course. This way we are able to maintain our clear signal flow just as it was shown on the diagram. Of course, we need to select a proper input from our sound card and click the speaker icon and the recording on button to make everything work. Now let's mute our track within the main section and load some of our favorite VSTs. Today I will just use the Neural Amp Modular plugin because I have some pre-prepared configurations. I will just load them and show you that everything is prepared as we want it to. The most crucial point here is the presets that we created especially for this VST and stored within Reaper configuration folder. Because I have named my presets in this VST just like you see it now, I will need to change my script variables accordingly. However, I suggest keeping the name simple, like primary, secondary, and so on. So now I'm heading to the script, searching for the proper line, changing it as I said, and now I do the exact change to each of the leftover scripts that we have written so far. Once everything is prepared as we wanted to, we can start loading our scripts to Reaper. To do so, press Shift plus the question mark, click the button called New Action, then Load Rescript, and mark all 4 newly created scripts. Now all we need is to assign a proper button of the MIDI controller to the script that we want to launch with. This procedure is really simple, assuming that you already have a MIDI controller installed in Reaper. Just hit the button and hit the appropriate foot controller. The moment each button is assigned to a script and is able to trigger it properly, we're actually done configuring our preset switcher. Now it's time to check if everything works.
So just leave this MIDI with the close button. And there's also one important thing that we gonna want to do. The thing is just to change the names of our VSTs. Whatever it was called before, it is now supposed to be named with main, just as we decided it in our scripts. And basically, with this, we are ready to go. And sorry for my abrupt change of the quality of my voice, but this part of the voiceover needed to be recorded after I thought that I did all the job, because it turned out that I have forgotten to rename those VSTs. So yeah, but right now we are just getting back to my regular sounding me. Let's just click the controller button a few times and see if it works just as we want it to. And here, as we see, it works as it was supposed to work. There you go, that's basically it. And with this concept, I was able to build the entire system that allowed me to switch between different tracks, mute the undesired VSTs, and combine different patches to stack different sound layers. But this concept I'm going to explain in my further videos. So once again, thank you for your attention. If you'd have any questions, feel free to ask me, of course. Stay tuned for next videos. In the next release, I'm going to explain how to create a simple looper combined with the preset switcher, which will make you able to jam with yourself or track different musical ideas. And well, it seems that it is high time for me to say those silly and funny sounding YouTube phrases. So here we go. That's all for now. But don't forget to leave the comment, click like, click the bell, subscribe, visit my GitHub repository where today's script will be posted, and don't forget to check out my original music project called Raven Trophy. That's all for now, bye.